Hey guys, how's it going? This is the Power Gunner, and welcome to the highly anticipated infamous Second Son Power Ideas 3. Thank you for being patient, although, like, not everyone has, but for those of you who have been patiently waiting for this, thank you. I am going to say right now that this will be the last Power Ideas video that I will do, sad face. But the game's coming out soon, and shortly I will upload something that me and my friends recently recorded, which is us in a PS4 party chat talking about anything for any ideas in the game, and that includes powers. So that is something that we will be uploading, and we have recorded the first one of that, and what I'm planning on right now, I haven't told them all of the ideas that I have for this, but how I think this will go down is that for the second one of those party chats that we do, because we will really only have time to do like 2, and we'll probably do it on the Friday before the game comes out, which is March 14th, I'm pretty sure. And I plan on live streaming that and also having the party chat open for anyone to join. So if you aren't on my friends list already, then tell me what your PSN is, or just add me on PSN. My PSN is the Pyro Gunner, just like that. No weird stuff or like numbers or X's put in my name. So anyways, there's that. So for Power Ideas 3, I actually recorded this a few weeks ago, but then we got more information, so I'm kind of having to redo most of it. So I am going to leave in some of the old recordings of explaining some very likely powers in the game, but I am redoing most of it. So yeah, one thing with all of these powers, and you're welcome to put power ideas in there, but I might not talk about them in future videos, and the game's almost out, and I've kind of ran out of most power ideas, and these are kind of the last ones that we have. Alright, so all of these will be common in cities such as Seattle. They will be materials, not one of the elements, and by that I mean like not the periodic table of elements, but like the old elements such as water, fire, earth, or air. They won't be exactly like that. They might be slightly similar to that, such as smoke being kind of like fire, and also neon is kind of like a light, which could also be considered one of those elements. So anyways, some people at Sucker Punch have hinted in an interview that they said on an article that you will absorb concrete from Augustine, and I don't know if you do that on Evil or what, but they have hinted at that. But, of course, I'm not entirely sure if it happens, but it sounds like it will. And by the way, Augustine is just what we think is the name of the lady from the first trailer. And what's kind of interesting is that when Delsin gets powers, for the most part, he uses them differently than the person who he took them from. So I've thought of some cool concrete powers that Delsin could use. One thing that's cool is he could tunnel with concrete in the ground. I think I might have actually talked about that before. And he could also make a shield, but I don't think this would be like the polarity wall or the ice shield. I think that this would be more like he brings up a stationary shield of concrete out of the ground, and it's just there for him to take cover behind. And maybe he can turn his fists into concrete and punch people for the melee. We saw one of the DUP Knights doing something like that in one of the most recent trailers. Then also he can probably do the concrete launch and make platforms on buildings to stand on. But that one he might not be able to do actually, because he can just climb buildings and shoot from them while he's climbing, I would assume, if it's like the previous games. So anyways, there was also a brochure for bioframe diagnostics that was in a breakdown of another one of my videos, and you should go find that video and watch it if you want more explanation on what that is. But they listed some more powers which are pretty cool, and this is a list that I have made of all of the powers that are either confirmed or likely. And those ones that are on the list of some powers that conduits have been known to have for the bioframe thing, those won't definitely be in the game, but they are likely possibilities. Alright, so here's my list. Alright, smoke, neon, concrete, glass, waves, which I will talk about soon, asphalt, wires, paper, shadow, magnetism, and coffee. Alright, so one random idea for the glass power I've kind of had, or how you would use it, is, or actually someone else had this idea, but I can't remember who it was because it was a while back. But they said that you can maybe dash with the glass and turn into glass and just go straight through people, which would hurt them a lot, although this game is rated teen, so there wouldn't be able to be tons of blood when you do that. Okay, so anyway, so that waves power. This is the one that I think is the most likely out of ones that me or someone else has thought up. And some people have thought of something similar to this, but this is what I have thought up. Now, I actually recorded a kind of long segment of me talking about what this power idea would be previously, when I said that I actually recorded this a while back, and now I'm having to redo it. So I'm just going to play that recording, but one thing that I want to say first is one thing that I think I messed up on is I'm pretty sure that there aren't both red and yellow satellites, but I think the satellites are red on the inside and yellow on the outside. So yeah, and we also saw a white satellite recently that might be a collectible, and it might have to do with this power. But yeah, I'm going to play what I thought of that. Now with the electromagnetic waves, I'm really going to go into detail with this, because I actually kind of strongly believe that this is going to be one of the powers in the game. So what suggests this is in the Neon trailer and in some of the most recent demo gameplays we have seen red satellite dishes around Seattle as well as some yellow ones. And I think that these are for draining electromagnetic waves. And if you don't know what they are, you'll probably remember once I say it. Just maybe saying it like that is kind of weird, but basically that's kind of like the different kinds of light, but they aren't all light. Like one of them is visible light. I've actually I've excluded that one because visible light is kind of neon, because neon is kind of light. So yeah, I've excluded that one, but it's like the spectrum of wavelengths and stuff, and ones that get like bigger and smaller, and they do different things. Alright, so the first one is radio waves. Now, I think Delson, I'm not sure if the different colors of satellites mean a different kind of wave, like one is radio waves, one is gamma rays or something. But with the radio waves, I've thought up some really cool things, and I think this power could be like just all of the waves except for visible light, and each one does different things. So for radio waves, I've thought of a really cool power, which is kind of flying with it. You turn into radio waves and can fly really fast, and it's similar to the shadow swarm, but while you're flying, your power meter for the radio waves will run out, and you will fly like through satellites or antennas to be able to recharge the power while you're flying if you want to keep going. And I think that you would control it kind of like a Tesla missile, kind of like a shadow swarm. One cool idea that I thought of is while you do this flying thing, you can hear some scrambled up music and radio broadcast sounds, or maybe TV noises and stuff. I think that would be a really cool effect for while you're using that power. Now the next kind of wave is a microwave, and I think that you could maybe use these for as sort of one of the attacks with the waves power, and you can kind of heat up enemies or certain things in the environment to make them explode. I think that would be kind of cool, kind of like a microwave. Well, they are microwaves, but kind of like a microwave, like kitchen appliance, except for it's not a kitchen appliance. Then there are infrared rays, which for that is kind of a heat vision. So maybe Delson could turn on different visions, kind of like the vampire vision in Festival of Blood, to where he can see certain things. And this would, I guess, let you be able to see in like infrared and see certain objects that are hotter than others. I'm sure that if they did this, they would have more of a purpose to it than that, because I'm not quite sure what the purpose is to that. Like maybe it could be used for some special missions, but other than that, I just don't get why that would be needed that much. But that's my ideas on the infrared part of the rays slash wave sort of power thing. Then there's ultraviolet. I think that this could hurt enemies, give them too much of a tan, sunburn them, basically kind of cook them like the microwaves, I guess, and mess up your enemies. I think that you kind of shoot this and the waves like keep coming out of your hand. It's not like a bolt, but more like kind of like the arc lightning, except for it only hits one person. It's like a continuous bolt just streaming out of your hand or something. Then X-rays, this would be kind of like a vision. You could see through walls and stuff, not clothes. That's not how X-rays even work in real life. It would like see their bones, not anything like under their clothes, like their skin or anything. Stop being pervs. So yeah, it could see like through walls, through people, or like through the grounds maybe, and see some things that you'd need to track down enemies or something. I could see that one being more useful than infrared for the X-rays, but infrared seems a bit less useful, but not that it isn't useful at all. Then there's gamma rays, which would be our sort of radiation thing. I'm not sure if this would be a bolt that you shoot at someone or some sort of a blast, but this could like irradiate stuff, and people get radiation sickness. But because it's a video game, they should probably get the radiation sickness a lot faster than they actually would in real life. Like you send a ton of gamma rays at them and kill them pretty quickly with this. And those are my thoughts for the rays or waves power. I think it sounds like the most likely out of all of these so far, just because we've actually seen those satellite dishes, and I doubt that they are a collectible because there are way too many of them to just be a collectible. Alright, so back to the new recorded stuff here. One of the bioframe things said that Asphalt is a power that conduits have been known to have, but I don't think it's going to be in the game, or it's at least not super likely, because the DUP already have concrete, so having two materials that are man-made and that are put on the ground seems like something they probably won't do, but it's possible. For wires, I would think that this is kind of like a thing where you can hack electronics, maybe, kind of like a Watch Dogs things, except for not over Wi-Fi, but through wires, and sort of like an electronic power. Alright, now paper. I think paper is the most likely out of all of the ones that were mentioned on the bioframe brochure. And that is because, well, one, it's because we don't know how it would be useful, which has been similar with all of the previous powers. Two, it's found in cities and stuff, and it's a very uncommon superpower that you could get, and I just think that they will do it. Some paper could be found in trash, or there could be paper that you get from posters, and there are definitely many ways to drain it. That also mentioned a shadow power, which you guys have been talking about a shadow power. I don't think it's going to be in the game because shadow needs light to make shadows, because shadows just means that there isn't light really, and neon is already the sort of light power. So I don't think there's going to be the shadow power in the game, but it is possible in the Infamous universe for people to have the shadow power. Now the magnetic power, I think that this is quite likely, and I think that this would be instead of a metal power, because magnets can magnetize metal, so I think that it will have to do with metal and kind of be like a metal power, but you're using magnets on the metal, and you could maybe pick up a lamp post and smack people with it or something. Also, some other ideas for a magnet power that I've thought of is like, what if you could pick up a car and like rip it apart with your mind? That would be kind of cool. That's kind of like telekinesis, but not exactly, because it's through magnetism. So maybe that's actually the power that Alden had, but if it is, then it's not really going to be in Second Son, because they aren't bringing any powers back. That's one thing that I forgot to mention. No powers are being brought back. One thing that I've thought of is how you would drain the magnetism power, because pretty much every power in the Infamous universe is drainable. There's a few that aren't like time travel, but that's more of a longer developed power. So magnetism, like, are there some sort of magnets that the DUP have, maybe in their scanners that you can drain it from, or some sort of equipment that the DUP or some other faction have? Or maybe magnetism is what is drained from the satellites, maybe, but I think that's unlikely based on my theories and stuff. But anyways, this sounds like it will be drainable some way, we just don't really know how yet. Now, one other power idea that I just thought off the top of my head that makes a lot of sense is fabric. There's definitely a lot of fabric in cities. Obviously, there's clothes and stuff, so draining it, I just thought, would be kind of weird if you just walked up to someone and drained it and all of their clothes came off. That would be strange, which they wouldn't do that because it's a teen-rated game, but maybe some of their clothes would come off, I don't know. But anyways, there's more ways of draining fabric than just clothes that are on people. And why I think this is a potential power in the game is because I don't know how it would be used. Just like paper, just like I didn't know how smoke would be used, and I didn't know how neon would be used. So, there we go. No ideas on that. You can leave them in the comments if you want. Alright, so the last one is coffee, and coffee is the other power idea that I pre-recorded, so you can listen to that. It sounds like an awesome idea. Now, this is one of my personal ideas that I would love if they put this in the game, but I highly, very highly doubt that they would put this in, and if they put this in, it would be like the gag power, the prank one that you get in a side mission or something. And what I'm talking about is the coffee power. That's right. Like, if I was making this game, I'm telling you right now, I would put a coffee power in there, and I'd make it to where you get it in a certain side mission, maybe like halfway through the game. And what's funny is that the power, well, first of all, Seattle's kind of known for its coffee. But probably one of the funniest things about this is if I put this in a game, I would make the power pretty much completely useless in fighting or anything. It would just be a dumb power just completely there as a prank. There would be very few things that you could do with it. And yeah, pretty much a useless power, but just in there for the lulz. Because, like, I'd totally do that. That would be so funny if they actually did that. I'm just saying, like, if someone's going to add that in last minute, just do it for the heck of it. Like, put in, you get it in one side mission, and yeah, So yeah, that would just be in there for a comedy type thing. Also, one more thing that I forgot to mention is the sort of like leaf slash tree slash plant power, like green stuff, you know? That seems likely because there are definitely those in Seattle. There's like a tree everywhere in Seattle. And what would look cool, since from what we can tell, most of the game at least takes place in fall, I would assume. All of those leaf colors would look cool, and it would be a nice graphical particle effect, which is what they're going for these powers too. So yeah, people have thought of how that would be used. I'm still not entirely sure every use, but maybe the actual power is chlorophyll, or whatever it's called, the green stuff that's in plants. I think that's what it's called, chlorophyll. So maybe that's actually the power, but that is also very likely. I've thought that it might be overpowered since there's trees literally everywhere, but if you think about it, there is electricity everywhere, which someone pointed that out, so there's that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just a summary of our list of the most likely powers that we have right here, because this will be the last video that I make. So here is the summary. Here is our official guesses at the total list of powers in the game. Alright, smoke, neon, concrete, glass, waves, wires, paper, magnetism, fabric, and plants. Those are the ones that I think will be in there. Coffee, it probably won't be in there, but it would be awesome if it was. So anyways, yeah guys, thanks for watching my last Power Ideas video. The game's almost out and it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait. So yeah, go watch my video that I will be putting out soon, or either I already put it out, I mean. Bad grammar. But yeah, it's either coming out soon or I put it out already. It's my 1000 subs thank you video. I talk about videos that I will be uploading once Infamous Second Son comes out in that video, so go watch that if you want, and bye guys.